encounter, like a face-to-face meeting with God. And mine happened back, what was it, 2005, maybe 2004, 2005. We went to Hawaii with me and my wife and my daughter, and then my wife's family, brother, sister. Once you're married, you go with the whole family everywhere. It's just everything changes. So we went with her family, brother, sister, mom and dad, their kid, all the kids. So we went to Hawaii, and we stayed at this hotel, and that's where my encounter with God happened, right outside of that hotel. We just went back recently, and I got to walk around and see this. And I mean, this has been a lot of years now, right? I went back and I was able to see all the things the way they are today. But boy, it brought back those memories. First of all, I was sick all week long. I had the flu, I guess. By the time we got there, I was so sick that for the most of the week I slept. I stayed in the room sleeping. I was weak. I was tired. I wasn't hungry. And so towards the end of the week, I decided, you know what, I'm going swimming. I brought snorkeling gear. I'm going swimming. And so I went down, and the family had rented 2 gazebos next to each other. And we stayed in those gazebos, just resting and talking. And that was all right. But I wanted to go swimming. And here we are at the coastline there. So I said, you know what, I want to go. And I asked my wife if she wanted to go. And she was going to take our daughter Grace around to the kiddie pool so she could go swimming, and that happened to be behind this great big volcanic looking rock, right? So she was going to take her over there. So I just said, well, I'm going to go, and my sister-in-law said, you know what, I want to go too. And so she got ready, and we went over, and I realized I forgot the snorkeling gear up in the room. And like, no, I'm not going up there. But they had a sports shack or whatever where you can get all this stuff. So we went over to that, and the lady gave us snorkeling gear. And she also said, are you good swimmers? I said, sure, I'm a good swimmer. She said, okay, because there's a rip current out there, and it'll take you way out. And so she said, just be careful, and if you get in that, just swim to the left or swim to the right. Like, hey, no problem. I'm a good swimmer. So we got out there, and as we're swimming along, we have our mask in the water, and we're swimming, snorkeling more or less, looking for fish. And we don't see a lot of fish, but I do notice something. The rocks are moving like crazy. I mean, fast. And I'm like, I looked up and I said, well, do you see how fast all that stuff's moving? And it was like, as soon as you focus on like a rock, it's gone. Well, common sense tells you this: the rocks aren't moving, you're moving. And we were swooshed out into the water 100 yards or so. It was way out there, and sure enough, we were right in the middle of that rip current. We didn't really think about it because we're out to see fish, we're out to have fun, this is great. And we just kept going, and she looked up at me and goes, I want to find some turtles. And I'm like, me too. Let's go. And then I looked back and saw the shoreline, the coastline, had looked like little ants. The people were so small. I'm like, we're really out here. We're a ways out. We probably need to go back. And she's like, yeah, you're probably right. We're too far out. So we began to swim back. Being caught in a rip current, you don't think about it going out so easy. But going back, you're going against it. And seriously, we couldn't fight the current. And it kept taking us further back and further back. And I just kept looking, thinking, how can we do this? Well, the lady had told us. She said, if you swim to the left or swim to the right. And I'm exhausted already. If I go to the left or right, I'm never going to make it in. Because, for one, I'm weak. I'm tired. I've been sick all week. I haven't been eating. And now you want me to swim to the left and right? I'm like, oh, my goodness, no way. So I began to think about, okay, we got to get this done. We got to go straight ahead. And we both began to swim forward. And sure enough, we got tired. And as soon as we came up to, look around to see how far we made it, the current just took us back. It was like nonstop. You go forward, and then it pushes you back, and then you go forward and pushes you back. And it was at some point I began to panic. I got a cramp in my leg. began to get very tired and weak, and she was able to swim along, and she finally made it to where she could stand up, and then she made it in. With the leg cramp, I did something really silly. I looked down into the water to get something off my foot. Something was grabbing my foot and holding it, and I'm like, what is this thing? I can't swim with this. And I pulled it off, and I looked at it. It's the fin. It's the one thing that was saving me. It was just so heavy because with the cramp and the just panicking, I was so dead. I took this thing to try to put it back on, and every time I went back down, I put my face in the water. So I'm like, oh no, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And I mean, the panic was setting in. Well, when I was about 18 years old, I took this lifeguard class. I got certified as a lifeguard, which was doing me no good at this time. But I remember what they taught in lifeguard class is once a person panics, they die. And I realized I was panicking. And by this time, the current had already carried me back. I'm at least 150 yards or so back. That shoreline looks so far away. Began to look around to see if there was another way out, and there's nobody out there. Not one person is near me. There's who else would come out? There's a rip current out there. Who else would come out there? So looking around, no help there. My sister-in-law went to get some help. I don't know where she was because there's no lifeguards on these beaches, so there's nobody to help. And I got to that point where I knew that I was going to die. But there's two things that I wanted to do. For one, we came on this vacation to tell the family that my wife was pregnant with our second child. And we haven't told them this whole trip until I was feeling better so that we could tell them. I mean, that was like the huge surprise for us. We're going to have our second child, and she's pregnant, and this was a great announcement, right? Except this week's just not going well. Well, one thing, I wanted to wave bye to my wife and my daughter. I remember thinking, if I'm going to die, at least I can say bye. And I looked up there, and I saw that volcanic rock structure, whatever it was, and I realized that my daughter and my wife were in the kiddie pool behind it, and they're never going to see me. And then I thought, I just want to be able to hug them, and I couldn't do that either. And I don't know about if anyone has ever gotten this close to death, but there is an amazing peace that just comes on you. At least it did for me. It was just a peace that was just like, there's nothing else that you can do. And I'm like, I just said, there's nothing I can do. My leg is cramped. I'm very tired. I'm nauseous. I'm weak. I haven't eaten all week, regular meals, and I'm just done. And I remember I drunk so much salt water from trying to survive here. I'm splashing in the water, barely staying up, have one fin in my hand, one on my foot. It's just the end. It's the end. And then God spoke. And God said, and look to your right. And I said, are you kidding me? I said, I've looked to the left. I've looked to the right. I've looked everywhere. There's nothing that can save me. And God's like, look again. And I looked, and not far away was two guys on surfboards. And I said, hey, I need help. And they said, what? Like typical surfers. I said, hey, I need help. And the one guy paddled over. And I said, after I grabbed onto his surfboard, I've never hugged a surfboard so tight in my life. I hugged that surfboard and I wouldn't let go. And I said, you just saved my life. And he goes, what? I said, I was drowning. I just can't make it in. And he paddled his way. It took us about 20 minutes to paddle back in and to get into that place where I was safe. And I stood on that shore and I just thought, I have life. I get to see my daughter. I get to see the daughter that would have never known me. I get to see my wife and my family. But you know what? This was my encounter with God. It says the testing of your faith produces endurance. And that's what I needed. I needed God to test my faith. I need him to take me up to a stronger level of faith and to continue that so I could trust him no matter what. Because I was going to need that in my ministry, in my family life, my personal life, everything that I do. I needed to have more faith, and God knew that because he was going to eventually have me go out and rent out the Rose Bowl Stadium with very little money. He was going to have me start a ministry where we're giving away bikes and toys and food to everyone and not charging them a dime. But I need to have faith in God completely, that he was going to be able to provide even if I couldn't see it. Remember, I said I looked around and there was no help. There was no one out there to help me. And God said, look again. And that's what I have to do. God wants you to trust him. And that encounter that I had with him, then I go back to that continuously, even if I can't see where the finances are coming from, if I can't see the supplies, the volunteers, whatever. If I can't see it, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's not there. It just means God hasn't shown it to me yet. And whenever God tells me, hey, just look, here they are right here. I've already had them planned. They were going to come out at this exact moment. When I was ready to give up, God didn't give up. Go out and have an encounter with God. Let God put you in a place where you have to depend on him completely. It's great. It's awesome. You're going to love it. Hey, thanks for watching. My name's Paul Karanick with Xclaimed Ministries. Subscribe to our channel. We need more subscribers because it's like a big family. You guys are family. And I love to share our videos with you, and I hope you like watching them. Hey, send us some comments and let us know that you're out there. Love you guys. Keep in touch. See you next time.